Welcome to episode 15 of Full Court Magic, and I welcome back my long-lost friend and colleague, Andrew Cherico, who was in the building tonight, and he might have just been a good luck charm for this team as the Magic finally snap their six-game losing streak with a 121-117 win over the Sacramento Kings. This was a much-needed victory as the Magic had fallen all the way down to 10th place in the East after being in 5th place and riding the high of a 7-game winning streak not so long ago. And it took every bit of effort that the Magic had. The Kings, especially their young players, were very scrappy and did not let this become an easy out for the Magic. Andrew, what did you see, my friend?
This game, we spoke with Coach Jamal Mosley after the game. They understand it wasn't their most impressive win. They understand it was a sloppy win. I mean, you're going against a Sacramento Kings team that struggled all season. But a win is a win, Don. They got in the win column. They got that done. The defense in this one was a little bit shaky for the Magic. They did not defend the way they wanted to, but their offense was there. Paolo Banchero, his third straight game scoring 30-plus points. You get to see Jamal Cain out there making hustle plays. And Don, we need to talk about the ball movement leading up to Jalen Suggs' quote-unquote game-winning shot.
Yeah, that was big time. 27 seconds left. Suggs hit, can't even call it a dagger three. It was more of a bailout three because the Magic had allowed an 8-0 run up to that point after leading by 9 with about 2.5 minutes remaining. Ball's moving, gets to Suggs on the elbow. He knocks down the triple with ice in his veins, and the Magic needed it because DeMar DeRozan went down on the next possession and hit another three.
Yeah, DeRozan with 33 points. He was finding his way to the rim, his signature mid-range shot. He was controlling the upper half of the court. But it was interesting. We did speak with Mosley and Paolo Banchero after the game. Paolo requested to Mosley, I want to switch on to DeMar DeRozan after the second quarter. And after that, you can see Paolo was playing up and physical intense on him. Still, DeMar DeRozan, one of the most elite scorers in the league still, for as long as he's been in. He was still able to find a way to make an impact. But if Paolo hadn't maybe made that change and took over it as the leader he was, it could have been a different outcome in this one.
Yeah, definitely. This is a Kings team that has been ravaged by injuries. No Domantas Sabonis, no Russell Westbrook tonight. Zach LaVine's obviously been out, same with Keegan Murray. But they still have DeMar DeRozan, who has been there and done it for a very long time now. But the Magic escape with this one. And beyond that, Andrew, we saw once again the difference in this game. Paolo Banchero, we'll get to him in a minute, but I would say the biggest difference in this game was the play of the role players in terms of Tristan da Silva and Jamal Cain combining for 29 points. What did you see from those young guys?
I would say Tristan da Silva has been one of the most fun players to watch all season for this Magic team. The way he's built, his confidence, the poise, he looks like he knows where to be on the court. Not only that, but he's scoring the ball well, Don. You can see that he's had such a dramatic increase in growth and professionalism because remember last season he was thrown into the Wolves, had to start immediately as a rookie, a lot of games as well. But now I think after you see him develop over the summer, play in Eurobasket, start to get that poise, you can see him at points in the game, second and third quarter when back and forth between the Magic and the Kings, he was able to take control of some of those possessions and get the Magic on the board. And as you mentioned, Jamal Cain, another player who's fighting for positions, fighting for an opportunity. Got to speak with him after the game, and he takes pride in making all the hustle play. He wants to be the guy who dives on the floor, and these are the kind of guys this Magic team needs. Coming off of a 6-game losing streak is not easy. That's a weight lifted off of their shoulders. But you need those kind of hustle players to continue to build that momentum because we know what this Jamal Mosley team lives and dies by: execution, effort, and hustle. If they're not doing that, they're not winning basketball games. And it seems like Jamal Cain was brought in at just the right time to give them that little elevation to push them. Hopefully, now you can see if they're going to finish the season a little bit stronger.
Yeah, Andrew got some great quotes from Jamal. Jamal talked about being an underdog pretty much his whole life and playing career, and it's that type of tenacity and grit that you're going to get from players like Jamal Cain and a Tristan da Silva, who I talked with recently about getting thrown into the deep end from the moment he became a rookie. Did not have the luxury of developing in the G League with the Osceola Magic, had to come in and be a contributor, and in March he's averaging a little over 14 points per game, has been really, really critical in lieu of Franz Wagner, who is still recovering from that ankle injury that has plagued him since December when he suffered the high sprain. And yeah, Jamal Cain just, this is the reason why he was converted from a two-way contract to a standard contract, folks. And if you can see that really bright light behind us, that's why you are now blinded as we are. So, but just stick with us anyway. Yeah, Jamal, these are the reasons why he is where he is now on this team, and continuing to make an effort. Just after making his first start with the Magic in a loss to the Cavs and scoring a season-high 17 points, he comes out here and scores an efficient 11 off the bench, and again, it is a difference maker. Now, I think it's time to talk about the star of the show, Mr. P5, Paolo Banchero. Andrew, what did you see from the Magic's franchise player?
Yeah, as I was talking about on the Roundtable Magic website all night long, it seemed like one of Paolo Banchero's best games attacking the rim. He seemed like he knew where he wanted to go. He seemed like he was making the contact first and finishing strong. He was throwing a little bit of finesse in there. Much like the light behind me, he was the bright spot of this game. But it's good to see him back in form. Since the All-Star break, I think you've seen a different kind of Paolo Banchero. You go back to the beginning of the season, he's not moving as gingerly. He's not moving as with as much force. He's kind of settling for the long mid-range shots, the three-point shots. Now you see him attack, and when he finally gets a chance for his open three-pointer, he's starting to knock him down. For Paolo Banchero, he needs to continue this consistency because, as you mentioned, without Franz Wagner, this team needs a leader and someone to rely on. And we know Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs can contribute, but they're not no Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's still his team, largely, even though it's a collective effort. And, he really, folks, looked himself in the mirror. I'm sure a lot of you saw his comments. He wasn't selected as an all-star, and he didn't take that as a jab. He took that as a point of reflection, and he realized he wasn't playing well enough to be selected as an all-star, and I really feel like it was an inflection point in the season for him, and he's playing much, much better over this past month and a half, almost 2 months, and the Magic need every bit of it from him as the season winds down. So a good win, Andrew, but a long way to go. Not really, but almost like in a way. This team has a few more games ahead of it.
Let me help you out.
Yeah.
9 games to go, and still a long way for this team to go to reach the potential that they feel like they should.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, and this is why you're on TV and I write, my friend. Yeah, so next up, gotta go across the border into Canada to play the Toronto Raptors, who have exited their rebuilding stage and look like a playoff caliber team with the season winding down. What kind of threats is that going to pose for this Magic team, Andrew, and what do they need to do to get this win?
Absolutely. So here the entire night with Don covering the game, I was able to speak with Coach Mosley pre-game, and he said this team needs to have to start building that urgency as they enter the final stretch of the season, but they can't lose their process in which building the urgency. You don't want to see them start playing a different brand of basketball with 9 games to go. They need to stick to what they do, but execute and do it well. That's exactly what this team needs to do, especially 9 games left on. They do not want to finish at a play-in spot. That is, I would say, would be the biggest failure of the season if they end at that spot. A team that was projected to be in the top 3 seeds of the Eastern Conference. Look at the beginning. Now, as they're entering that final stretch, they have one more shot to go prove why they don't deserve to be in the play-in and why they should be waiting for a team to play them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. For you folks who have been following Andrew and I's work since we were with Magic on SI, the day that they traded for Desmond Bane is the day that the expectations went soaring through the roof for this team. There was talks of Eastern Conference Finals, especially in a depleted conference that knew that there was going to be no Jason Tatum, no Tyrese Halliburton due to their injuries. Well, folks, Jason Tatum is back. The Boston Celtics are playing well. So many teams are playing well. Charlotte has come out of the woodwork. This team has to play Atlanta again coming up. The Magic, that is. That is part of the second game in a back-to-back, which they start with the Phoenix Suns. Those are the 2 games after Toronto, folks. And while it's a home and home, and the electricity that can happen as a result of the crowd in the Kia Center will help out, this team as Andrew said, has to execute and really, really play to the strengths of their identity to hope to, really get back on track here.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, it comes down to the basics, Don. Rebound, defend, hit your shots. It's all the simple things that you learn in first grade when you learn how to play basketball.
Yep.
Now it's just take it up a few notches. This team with Jamal Mosley, he's either preached about or praised the need for effort, night in and night out. There's no better time to lock in and fully give it your full 100%, push the throttle all the way down than this final stretch of the season. They need to go in, get some good wins too. I know they have a quote-unquote easier stretch after Toronto, but beating Toronto would be a statement win.
Yeah, I agree. And, you're not going to do it with just one game, especially the hole that this team has dug itself over the past week or two with this losing streak. But this is a step in the right direction. Andrew, my friend, any final thoughts from tonight and tonight's win before we sign off here?
Man, I just want to say it's been great covering this season with Don. I was able to make it out to a game, so we were able to provide some in the arena on-site coverage, and I'm happy we can do an in-person podcast together. We know this team has had the ups and downs, roller coasters. It's kind of crazy. 7-game winning streak followed by a 6-game losing streak. That doesn't usually happen in a season, but that's been this Magic team all year. Ups and downs, ups and downs. Let's see what they can do as they enter the final stretch of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And folks, I know that we did not come to you live, so we did not have a live stream chat here, but please leave your comments in the comment section. We would love to respond to you and get some discourse going. And the best place to talk to us is on the Orlando Magic Roundtable. I have said this ad nauseum on this show. There are no paywalls. You can come in, leave community posts, join the conversation. It is such an interactive space for you to talk with us. No barriers whatsoever. We would love to have you, and please subscribe to Full Court Magic if you haven't yet. And we appreciate the organic growth that we've seen. But until next time, I'm Don Strouble. This is my co-host Andrew Cherico, and this has been Full Court Magic.